8th graders. Today we have a lot of writing. We're going to talk about keywords and phrases that will help us to write expressions. I would not be surprised if you have to pause your video a lot today. We're going to get through this really quickly. So we have addition. Wow, that's a lot of D's. Subtraction. And then I'm going to skip several lines here and I'm going to do multiplication. Remember, we can use a dot or parentheses for that. And division. And we're going to be using a fraction bar mostly when we talk about division. So when you see things like sum, total, plus, increased by, more than, those all signify that you are adding. Sorry, it's really bright right now. Sum, total, plus, increased by, more than. As far as subtraction goes, you'll see things like difference, minus, decreased by, less than, and subtracted from. We're going to come back to these last two here because they are actually turnaround phrases, but we'll come back to that in a minute. So, multiplication, we have times, product, of, twice, remember that's like 2 times, double, that's 2 times, triple, that's 3 times, right? For division, you might hear quotient, separate, or separate, either one. Divided by, that one should be obvious. Half, third, quarter, etc. All right. So now you might hear parenthesis phrases. These phrases tell you that you're going to have a parenthesis. So, times the sum of, or times the difference of or between. I'm going to read those to you in case you're having a hard time seeing that. I'm not sure why it's so bright today. So parentheses phrases are times the sum of or times the difference of or between. Not sure why I put a parenthesis there. Then here we have those turnaround phrases that I was referring to earlier. So the reason that they are turnaround phrases is because what is at the end of the phrase is what you're going to put at the beginning of your expression. So those would be less than and subtracted from. So if I said 4 subtracted from a number, if we have 4 subtracted from a number, our number goes first, so we use n when we don't know, and 4 subtracted from it would be like this. Do you see how that kind of was backwards? All right, here are lots of examples. The product of a number and 3. The quotient of a number and -5. the sum of twice a number and 7. All right, so the product, if you're not sure, go back to your notes. Our product was under multiplication, so we're multiplying a number times 3. Remember, when we have a number and a letter, we just have to write them next to each other to signify multiplication. The quotient of a number, so we have a number again, and it's being divided by -5. The sum, now if it said the quotient of, let's write this one too, the quotient of -5 and a number, whichever one goes first is on top of your fraction bar. That's what's being divided up. Okay? Now the sum of twice a number, so twice means 2 times, right? 2 times. So twice a number, 2 times a number, we would write like that, and 7. The sum means we are adding. All right? Here's a couple of trickier ones. 4 less than, so that's a turnaround, remember, a number squared. So remember, a number squared is n to the 2nd power, and 4 less than that, we write 4, and then everything in front of it is what we're subtracting 4 from. All right, now here are a couple of parenthesis phrases. Now, these were expressions. Sometimes we will have equations, and then we'll talk a little bit about inequalities. So equations, the sum of twice a number and 10 tells us what it's equal to, 36. So twice a number, we said that was 2 times n, and 10, that's what we're finding the sum of, means equals, and then we're writing it like an equation, okay? So let's do a couple more. 1/2 of a number is 8 less than, remember that's a turnaround, the number itself. Oh, this one's tricky. So 1/2 of a number, that means we are dividing a number by what? 2, right? Or you could say 1/2 n. Either way would probably be fine. I'm choosing to write it like this. Is 8 less than. So whatever this is minus 8, the number, I put the n, the number itself. So it equals n. That one was really tricky. All right. So the other things you will look a little bit at are less than, or equal to, greater than, or greater than or equal to. So remember, less than kind of looks like an L. Less than or equal to is an L with kind of the other half of the equal sign. Greater than opens the other way, and greater than or equal to looks like that. Okay? So sometimes, I know your hand's probably tired now, we're on our 3rd page of notes already today. We might say a number is less than -10. So you would write n, because we don't know what it is less than, right? We're using that negative 10. If it says no more than, that means it is either less than or equal to, right? A minimum would mean that it is either greater than or equal to. That's the minimum number. It has to be more than that. A maximum would show less than or equal to. That's the max number. It could equal, but it could be less than, right? So if we see a number is at most 45, that means it could be equal to 45, but that's the highest it can be. So it's either less than or equal to that. All right, you're going to have to use your brains. You're going to have to really think through it. What would make sense? Okay, and especially with these inequalities. All right, so we'll label these inequalities. Today you're going to be getting into Khan. Remember, they have great videos in there too. If you're not understanding these, you can search for them up and watch them. Do some reviewing. Make sure you're taking notes and pausing with me. All right, I know that was a long one. Have a super awesome Thursday. Remember, quiz tomorrow.